It looks like there's potentially some kind of an issue between our broadcasting software and the Facebook live feed stuff. So hopefully we have it figured out. I can't guarantee it's going to work, but we're just going to do the best we've got with what we've got, and we'll just see what happens. But in the meantime, here we are. It is Tuesday night. We've got, obviously some big stuff to talk about tonight. We've got updates with new NFL rules coming out and everything. We've got some updates in the arena ball world. There is some crazy stuff going on. Cuts being made, or having been made rather, with all the UFL teams, and just some really surprising cuts that we've seen. And we've got a bunch to talk about. So it looks like the Facebook is not coming through still. So we're just gonna have to wing it. So sorry, folks, trying to update some people on some things that are going on. We'll just have to copy it and post it to our Facebook page and then catch you guys from there. So we're going to do the best that we can with what we got and just figure out how to make it work. But pardon me. In the meantime, it's probably not great that I'm sitting there hacking up a lung on air. Let's talk about some crazy NFL updates. First of all, find it very amusing that the XFL and the USFL combine, decide we're going to follow the NFL kickoff format, and then the NFL changes the format.
And the NFL pulled the Lee Corso. Not so fast, my friend.
Yes. Oh, real quick, before we get started, though, I am feeling a little bit parched. Maybe I need to take a drink from my cup today. Just so you know who we're pulling for. Brian.
As if there was any doubt.
Yep. Talk to me about what this kickoff means.
Well, I mean, really, it's the NFL's adopting an XFL style rule for a 1-year trial period. It's not a permanent kickoff change. They're going to try it for a year and see how it goes. And basically, it's set up like the XFL kickoff. So you've got the kicker on one side of the field. You've got the return team lined up on the 40. I'm sorry, you got the kickoff team lined up on the 40. You got the return team lined up on the 35, 5 yards away from them, and then the returner, about 10, 15 yards behind them. So
basically what we're looking at is pretty much essentially the XFL rather format of the kickoff. And that's really important because we just went through this format change, and we had just been talking about how important it was that this kind of this advancement in gameplay kind of be supported. And UFL decided, no, I mean, it makes more sense. And it does, right? Let's be honest. It makes more sense for the players in the UFL to be training towards actual NFL play, right? So switching the kickoff format, ultimately, it makes more sense. Even though it was more entertaining in the XFL style, the USFL rules on that just made more sense. But then the NFL rather goes and changes the rules themselves. And so now we're back to square one. So now the guys this year are going to be training for a kickoff that may not come back again in the NFL, right? They may go to this new format depending on how it's received by the fans and if the data backs up the fact that it is touted to be the safer kickoff. And I will say that it leads to, when you do get returns, you get much bigger returns. They are huge. So I think, we're the NFL is probably going to adopt it because, I mean, it's a golden opportunity. But then the players this year that are going to be striving to get into the NFL or get back into the NFL next year are going to be losing out on valuable training time. So those are just my thoughts on that. But I do think, again, UFL going to UFL. And it's just like, can we just all get on the same page? Now, there was another interesting rule that was proposed and adopted this year. Brian, you want to talk about that one?
You're talking about the hip drop tackle.
Yep.
So yeah, basically that's what it's you saw it a few times. You saw a couple of guys get injured for it, but basically it was the tackler grabs the guy around his waist and just drops his hip, and the brings the guy down. It kind of brings all his weight and brings the guy down. I was kind of reading some stuff about it. Or apparently that tackle is getting banned in I think rugby as well. Some of the other kind of one of the sports that it was adopted from. But at this point, really, it's how are these guys going to be able to tackle? They took away, obviously they took, for good reason, took away hits to the head. They're taking away hits, to the knees now. Now you're taking away tackle to the waist pretty much. So how are you going to be able to tackle people? We're going to have, like a league record for missed tackles this year probably, because guys are going to be too afraid to be getting penalties.
You're right. I mean, this is kind of a scary thing going on. I really wish they would make a decision, right, and kind of stick with it. And I mean, I get it from the safety standpoint, but still, I mean, it's just kind of crazy. Sorry, I'm trying to update our Facebook page to let people know what's going on. So much work behind the scenes. I don't know how people do this for a living. So crazy stuff. No, I don't want to create an event. Just post this. Anyways, sorry. All kinds of crazy stuff. Man, technology, boy, let me tell you. Everything was perfectly fine until we became dependent upon it, and then now we're just absolutely wrecked without it. So, that being the case,
so we're talking about the hip drop tackle.
Yeah, we're talking about the hip drop tackle and what that kind of means. And I get it from a safety standpoint. But as you said, like, how are you going to actually tackle these folks? How are you going to wrap somebody up and bring them down? I mean, it's kind of like when they went all out in protecting the quarterback. What have you been, like you're allowing more opportunities for the quarterback. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's insane, dude. I don't fully understand. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, that's something I think, they're erring on the side of caution, but I think they are going a little bit too far with it. So that being the case, that's stupid messages everywhere, man. We're getting blown up. What's up, Tutem Bramasita? So, hey, just again, go over everything. We're having an issue with feeding to Facebook. I guess the book doesn't want to eat what we're serving up, and it's being weird. But I guess apparently I am broadcasting live to my page. I just don't know how to get there and share it to Texans Talking Football. So give me a second.
I was just trying to do that too, and I wasn't seeing wasn't letting me. So
share to a group. I can't share it to a group. I have to Texans Talking Football. Let me see if I can find myself as a friend and share it to the page, which I don't understand why I can't do that. Crazy stuff. View profile. We are obviously Well, where the heck it go? It was there, and then now it's gone. Did I lose my Facebook? Ugh, bro, I hate technology.
All right, let's get on with the show. We can share later as we need.
Yeah. So, anyways, we were talking about some crazy stuff. I did promise Converse Brian though that we would get back to his question, and I don't know that we ever did. So let's just go ahead and dive into that now. So, Brian, Florida Brian, which is now Converse Brian, has asked, where do you think JJ McCarthy will end up in the NFL draft, and do you think he'll end up in New England? What are your thoughts about that?
I did see that there was a recent mock draft that put McCarthy to the Patriots. I mean, they definitely need a quarterback. I'm not up to date with all the mock drafts that are out there and all the needs for everything. But I know New England definitely needs a quarterback. Lots of teams need a quarterback. So I could see him fitting somewhere in the high first round, mid to high first round, to one of those teams that needs one.
I would agree with that. I'm looking at NFL's mock draft. They've got him going at third to the New England Patriots, and the top 3 picks are all quarterbacks. So Chicago gets a new quarterback, Commanders get a new quarterback, New England gets a new quarterback. And then we go to Arizona, who actually picks a wide receiver. I mean, that's putting a lot of faith in short stack down there. I don't know about that one.
I don't know. I don't
see
see
that
3 quarterbacks getting drafted back to back to back. That's just, I don't know. It's one of those weird, like, I kind of remember maybe that happening before, or having 3 or 4 quarterbacks in the first like 5 or 6 picks, but I don't see that happening this year.
I don't know, Brian. I mean, there's so many teams that do have quarterback needs, though. I mean, Chicago definitely is one of them. And not that I want to bash Chicago or anything like that, but we saw that Justin Fields just was not a good fit in that system. I have to believe that he's a better quarterback than what he's shown in the NFL. And I think he's going to be hopefully a better fit somewhere else. Now, I could be wrong. I mean, I'm no talent scout. I don't know, half of what these guys know when it comes to evaluating a player. But I've seen flashes of pretty good quarterback there, right? I mean, we play him twice a year. So even though it's not my team, I'm going to see what the cat is capable of. And I have to believe that somewhere in there is a quarterback that, given the right structure, can do very well in the proper system. So, anyways, back to the original point. Chicago definitely is going to need a quarterback because Fields is gone, right? Yeah. And they've got nobody else that they're going to be able to rely on. I mean, their backup quarterback was not anything to really even think about. Brian here thinks that there's shades of Tom Brady. I mean, for Caleb, for JJ, maybe. I think that might be going a little bit far.
It's just the Michigan and New England. That's kind of the only thing that.
What's up, Brahma Bulletin? Let's go.
The only thing that kind of matches that, but I don't see. I mean. But who thought Brady's skill level was going to be what it was? So,
that's true. But we've also talked about that. Yeah, we've also talked about that. That again, given the right structure, any quarterback can go from being really, really good to that next level, right? There's very few quarterbacks out there that really can kind of bridge that gap on their own without the system. Hate his guts,
and he's not gonna have the Belichick era in New England, that kind of coaching. So who knows what kind of coaching system it's gonna be. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, and so that's another thing to think about, is that This cat is going to be plugging into a team that basically is rebuilding from the ground up. Belichick is gone. Half the players are not going to be the same. We don't really know what all they're going to do. Pardon me, in free agency and what kind of moves that they're going to be able to make to try and not only get, obviously they've got the number 3 pick. They're going to get this cat, but who's he going to throw to?
Yeah.
Right. So they're going to need
to this comment. So was Johnny Manziel. So was Tim
Ouch.
Tebow.
Ouch. Tim Tebow's a whole different discussion. Tim Tebow is a quarterback who should have been a tight end. If he would have played at tight end, I promise you, he would have been just as great as Gronk, if not better.
I don't know about that. But...
Oh, I 100% stand behind that comment, sir. I 100% stand behind that comment because he would have been a threat at blocking and catching, right? But then he also could hurl it for the most part on target. Maybe not all the time because he sure didn't do it as quarterback. But quarterbacks throw more than a tight end would. But I honestly think he would, well, maybe not. He would have been in the same discussion.
I still don't think so.
I think you're crazy.
Not buying that.
I think your blue star has you biased.
Blue star for what? I don't care about Tebow or Gronk.
I'm just messing with you, man. But yeah, Gronk was a wrongly utilized player. Some coach somewhere should have told him, "Hey, man, you do okay at quarterback. Maybe you should try tight end. You're a big dude. You're a strong dude."
Well, he tried that on his last shot. I think it was when who was he in camp with as a tight end and ended up getting cut. It was the last team he was in camp with. And I'm going to put up another one of Florida Brian's comments. You know what? So was Johnny Manziel in Texas A&M.
True.
So,
yeah. Well, and I'm pretty sure Dormady was pretty good also. And I mean, he's our number 2 QB.
I don't remember him. I don't even remember where he was drafted, but
I don't
remember hearing about him coming out.
I'm just saying, like, you can hype up a player as much as you want.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers, for example, was hyped up incredibly, and he wound up going to us way late in the first round. Okay, and it turned out the hype was true, right? And everybody had to eat crow. Bert Favre, he was just some no-name nobody, right? And just absolutely lit it up, but that's Bert Favre.
Yeah.
Yep. But again, right, that's on him. He made that choice not to be a tight end, and he would have been an incredible tight end, I feel. But again, all that to say that back to Converse Brian's question, I'm sure JJ is going to get picked at number 3 by New England. Is that going to be a great pick for everybody, considering New England is rebuilding with looking for a new coach if they haven't already found one? I think they already did. But I don't know that he's going to be Belichick. We don't really know. I mean, there's too many unknowns there for us to be able to say, man, this is going to be the pick of the century. They're getting their guy, and it's going to be Tom Brady all over again, right? I think that's kind of a once in a lifetime kind of deal. I really do. I don't think we're going to find another Tom Brady, at least not in the next several years. And especially to go to the same team, man, I don't think lightning strikes twice like that. I just don't.
Yeah. Oh, and I just looked it up. So Tebow was on the Jacksonville preseason squad as a tight end in 21. Then he got cut.
Okay.
So,
well,
I knew I had thought of that. I remember him trying for tight end, but I can't remember what team it was.
What's up? It's our buddy Mike G. What's happening, baby? I don't know necessarily that you're late. I think it's our Facebook problems that made you late. So we're gonna blame the book on this one.
Yeah.
But okay. So Brian, that's your question. We've tried to do the best we could with that. Hopefully, that gives you a little bit of our insight on it. and doesn't sway your opinion because, I know you're a Michigan guy. I know you love this cat and you want to see him do well. I hope he does. I just don't know, right? I mean, this could be a huge swing and a miss, or it could be a home run. We just don't know. There's too many variables to make a definitive decision on that one way or the other. But back to NFL. I think we pretty much covered all the NFL stuff, right?
So we were talking about the hip drop tackle. I don't know if you ever talked about it. I guess you did.
I talked about it a little bit. Again, I have to agree with you. Right.
The next change was like, and I didn't even see that it got passed, but that the third challenge now. So now you'll get a second additional challenge for having one successful challenge.
Yeah.
As opposed to now, how it was before, you had to get both right to get a new one.
Yeah. From what I'm seeing here, and I mean, I guess we'd probably need a little bit of clarification just to be 100% sure, but it does sound like if you challenge and win your first challenge, you get a third challenge, or even potentially hang on. Where is it? I just saw it. Yeah, it protect a club's ability to challenge a third ruling followed by one successful challenge. So maybe you lose your first one because you get two, right? You lose your first one, you get your second one, but then that gives you an option for a third one. That's kind of what I'm reading, which could be good. Brian, are you frozen? This is brutal, man. Brian, did you freeze up? Yeah, I guess we lost BD. He'll be back here in just a second. Let me bring him back in. There he is. Are you using Spectrum again, Brian?
Dude, I don't know what's going on.
Hey, where's your audio, bro?
Can you hear me?
Wow. Your audio and your video are not syncing up at all.
Okay.
There you're back. You're back.
All right.
So, man, we're having all kinds of technical difficulties, man. You know what I think it is? I think it's the Russian collusion.
No,
right?
They're against us. Flares. That's what it is.
Yeah, we're gonna go with that, huh?
Flares.
It's the solar flares and the Russians.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna blame the Russians just because it's Russians. So anyways, we're talking about the challenge, right? Which is a good thing. And then there's a couple of other ones that are kind of more clarifying things. Like one of them,
nothing that really stands out.
Yeah, it's the two. It's the hip tackle and it's the kickoff that are kind of the biggest deals for the NFL this year. So again, kind of unfortunate that we give up the XFL style kickoff and now the NFL is going with a similar style. But I mean, let's see what happens, right? Because they may only use it for just the 1 year and decide, no, this doesn't work for us. So
it is actually, it's 1 year. And so they may go back. And so, which would be funny if next year the UFL goes back to the XFL style and then the NFL says, you know what, we're going back to our old style.
Yeah.
They're just gonna leapfrog each other with the kickoffs.
Yep. Okay. So let us switch gears because obviously we are now in week 2 of IFL football. And I believe at least week 1, if not 2, in the American indoor football. And there were some insanely crazy games this weekend. Again, we try and cover everything Texas here. And so we talk about the Frisco Fighters back here behind me. That game, Brian, I know you didn't get a chance to watch it, but I am telling you, this game was insane, bro. Insane. Let's go back and look at the the box score, right? It was kind of a slugfest the first quarter. Tulsa scored 6, Frisco scored 7, right? And then Tulsa started running away with the game. Clearly in control of the game the second quarter, right? They racked up 13 points. Frisco got a big fat goose egg, okay? And they couldn't get together. The center was snapping the ball either right above the quarterback's head or down at his feet. Could never get it on target. Could not get it cleaned up. And I don't know what happened. But I guess the coach's message at halftime didn't sink in until the fourth quarter because Tulsa came out and put up another 6, and Frisco only got 3. And again, just struggles. And I remember texting with our friends over at Pro Football Alliance and saying, man, what's going on? Because I caught the very, like the tail end of the third quarter and then all the fourth quarter. And I was like, this is not the Frisco that we know. I mean, this is not the Frisco that dominated all year long and wound up losing in like the second round of the playoffs by like 2 points or whatever it was. So I was really surprised that Frisco was struggling so much with Tulsa. And then Frisco finally showed up in the fourth quarter and put it on. And I mean, put it on. 15 unanswered points to tie the game with a 2-point conversion. Take it into overtime, and wouldn't you know it, Tulsa drives down the field and throws a pick right before the end zone. So Frisco takes over, they go for it, first play, boom, end zone, done. So Frisco wound up winning that game 31-25. Nice. Again, the first 3 quarters were just rough to watch, man, but that fourth quarter, you saw the Frisco that and I mean, it was just a phenomenal game. Our friend here, the Brahma Mariachi or Viva Texas in this application, the Mississippi and Corpus game was a wild one. It is, and we're going to get to that because there's also some crazy stuff that happened in the AIF that we want to talk about as well. But we'll get to that in just a bit. Some other games that were some pretty interesting games. Green Bay Blizzard actually won against the Iowa Barnstormers, which, is kind of surprising. The Jacksonville Sharks actually lost to the Massachusetts Pirates, which I did not see coming. I mean, it's Jacksonville, and the Pirates were not necessarily that great. Brian, your favorite team, the Quad City Steamwheelers, they won 38-32. That was a pretty close game. That was a good one. The one game I definitely want to talk about, again, it's in the division, so we want to talk about it. It's not any Texas teams, but that Vegas Nighthawks game against the Rattlers, man, that was a good game. And Vegas, of course, pulled off the win 45-43, but man, it was a fight, dude. It was a good game. Yeah. So again, folks, if you're looking for something to watch on the weekends, you don't have any football going on or anything like that, tune into one of these games, man. You can find them on YouTube. There's a bunch of different apps that cover the broadcast. The feeds from the IFL games are great. Even the NAL games have gotten better. Everything is just getting so much better in arena football. And but it was some really good football. But speaking of some really good football, week 3, right? Next Monday, not this coming up Monday, like 7 days from now. Is it?
Yeah, the first.
Yeah, 7 days from now. Our San Antonio Gunslingers will be taking on the San Diego Strike Force in San Diego.
Gunslingers finally start their season.
2 week by week to begin the season, basically. It is absolutely insane. Okay. Our buddy right here, Mike G, he is going to be at the Gunslingers games. If we can pull it off, we may be there also. I don't know that we'll be at all of them like we were last season, especially the Monday night game. And that's going to be kind of tough to pull off, with kids and, being old. But we'll definitely make a couple of them, and we'll make sure to make a grand entrance and make a whole bunch of noise, because that's what we do. And we're not doing their catchphrase. Don't even say it. We ain't about that. But some other good games.
Oh, you like it, Jay.
Oh my God, it makes me sick. Duke City's going to be playing Frisco in Frisco. That should be a pretty good game. Hopefully, whatever was holding Frisco back this last week, they'll get fixed during this week's practices and everything, and put on a great game on Friday. And there's another, Arizona showdown. You've got Tucson Sugar Skulls at Northern Arizona Wranglers. That should be a pretty decent game also. I know the Sugar Skulls were pretty strong last year. Right here. Nice. Brahma Bulletin is going to be trying to do a trip to Frisco to catch the Gunslingers and the Brahmas.
Oh, wow.
We may have to join you on that. That might be a fun little adventure, right? So we'll look up the details and everything and see what we can find out. See if maybe there's a way that, we can coordinate a trip up there, and, we'll just do a whole caravan thing and just have a good old time up there in Frisco. I'm sure there's at least one quick trip that we can go to and get some, dollar egg rolls and have us a good old time. So, but again, some really great games coming up this next week, and the triumphant return of our San Antonio Gunslingers into the new, not the new IFL, but their entrance into the IFL, and hopefully domination, right? Because we've been seeing a lot of footage about, how hard they've been practicing and how much they've been doing and everything. They've got a new coach in Menace. They've got the new quarterback Castronova. They're playing a new style of game because this is not Iron Man anymore. So you've got defensive specialists and offensive specialists. It's going to be a good time. And I'm hoping that they absolutely destroy San Diego. Now, to go to Jorge, we were talking about the Corpus Christi game.
The Corpus Christi, Mississippi game that did not happen.
Yes. It was absolutely wonderful. And so if you go to the AIF website, they have the game listed. Corpus Christi 2, Mississippi 0.
Yep.
This is the one that we specifically wanted to talk about. So for anybody that's following any indoor stuff, you already know what's happened. For our fans who maybe don't know so much about the indoor game, if you've seen anything on Facebook, this actually kind of blew up. This was kind of a big deal.
Here, I'm gonna share my screen. I've got the picture pulled up.
I want people to see this field. Oh, and by the way,
this is what the Mississippi field looked like before the game.
And now that wasn't like days before the game.
No, that was like when they were supposed to kick off, an hour before.
Yeah.
So,
yes. This, and you notice, right? First of all, look at the condition of the field. It's not even, you don't even have the field markers necessarily lined up correctly. You've got a humongous, just bleached out green spot between the 15 and the 20 on what would be, I guess, the north side of the field there. The end zones are just more of another football field, right? It was absolutely atrocious. And this was like an hour or so before the game was supposed to kick off. You don't have any boards up, anything.
I believe, they were postponing the game, and then they eventually just called it. They're like, we're not playing on this field.
Yeah, it was bad. So to reflect back, if we go back to the first season that the Gunslingers actually came back and were in the NAL, I believe it was the NAL. Whatever.
No, it was the the AAL.
The AAL. There you go. The AAL.
Yep.
Brian,
see
the AAL.
My Gunslingers Alamo beer can from that season.
Yeah. That field was rough, right? And it was.
I want to say it was just as bad as this field. The only difference is that field was on dirt and horse crap, and that was the only thing. That was the only saving grace of that field.
Yeah.
I mean, if it was on concrete, there's no way in hell anybody would be playing on that thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick by my guns, no pun intended. I don't think the field.
Your guns that are up by chance.
No, my guns are not up, sir. I'm not.
Are you sure? Are you sure?
I'm 100.
Get your guns up.
No, I've talked to that dude already. and I've told him don't say it again. No, I didn't talk to him. But the field that in question was the field that they were using at the San Antonio Rose Palace in Bernie. Okay. I'm not going to post that comment, but 100% you're right, Jorge.
But remember,
it did.
I'm talking about the field like week 1, because they had bought a field from, was it the Kiss or some of the okay, it was the Kiss, and like week 2 or 3, which was better, but that first week was absolutely horrible. There was patches missing, there was divots.
No, the patches. I mean, the field was all there. It was taped down. But the field was all there. I mean, there were holes that were cut and then patched.
Yeah,
I'll give you that.
Duct taped
but
in there. So I'm still saying,
bro,
that field was worse than this one here.
Not like what that was. That thing was pathetic. Okay, but it was nice to see the return of the LA Kiss field because they had that guitar pick logo.
Yep.
And it was all blacked out, but you could still see
tell
that it said Kiss on it. It was awesome, man. It was good times, boy. Good times.
So kind of the aftermath of the Mississippi, Corpus game is, like, you go to the AIF website. Mississippi is no longer there. They're no longer in the league. They said you had plenty of time to get your crap together, to get a field going, and you didn't. So goodbye.
Yep. So yeah, a very sad ending to potentially what could have been a decent game. I know Mississippi is listed as coming back next season as an expansion team already. We'll see what happens. I don't think it takes that long to put boards up, but at this point, why even try, right? So, but next week we've got we've got a Texas shootout actually, right? Corpus Christi will be taking on Amarillo, and I believe they're going to be playing in Amarillo on the 30th at 7 p.m. That game, if you want to catch it, should be on Facebook. It'll be an entertaining game. It should be pretty fun. AIF, I don't think is going to be necessarily at the same talent level as the IFL, but there's still some great gameplay to be watched there, right? So make sure that you're checking it out. That's true. That's true. San Antonio could. And in fact, they're good at cleaning it up too.
Yeah, literally last year.
Literally.
The Gunslingers.
Yes. And then we've shared that story here a number of times. I don't think I'm going to waste everybody's time with tackling that this week. So, arena football. Check. We're done. Let's move on to the UFL. Guys, you know us, right? I mean, look at my cup. Jorge, this is kind of inspired by Jackie and you. And how much you love DC. Like, I'm doing my part to show my support for you. Even though, you did kind of poke the bear a little bit there. Like, I'm sorry, but it's true. For anybody that doesn't know what we're talking about, you can check out some of the episodes on the Horns Forward podcast, especially this last week where we kind of roasted Jorge a little bit for trying to instigate stuff with Arlington at the championship game, and then some other things and some words were said and some things happened and stuff, and I don't want to ruin it, so check it out on the Horns Forward podcast. But in the meantime, we're going to talk about UFL here. Our friends over at the UFL board website do a great job covering all the transactions and everything. Obviously this last week was Final Cuts week, and we were kind of told that everything was going to be coming out on Saturday, and the team started announcing stuff on like Friday or
I think Thursday night and Thursday. Then Friday.
Yeah. So just it was a little interesting, but I get it. I mean, once you know, right? So looking at Arlington, some of the surprise cuts they're talking about over here, the running back Day Hunter was cut, and they said it was a really surprising cut because he was basically averaging about 6 yards per carry in each of his last 2 college seasons, and he didn't really garner really any kind of pro buzz. But he was a pretty solid running back, right? 6 yards per carry. That means he definitely knows what he's doing. But it looks like Arlington is poised to make another run at the championship, right? I'm hoping the curse of big game Bob does come back, and that they don't make it. We'll see what happens, though, right? And then Jorge doesn't have to worry about getting roasted in his own home because he won't be carrying a No Renegades sign in our own stadium, right? San Antonio. I find this to be a little bit of an interesting take, but they cut, pardon me, they cut your favorite guy, who you can't pronounce his name.
I'm not trying it again. I did it twice. That's all you get. So
that's all you get. They cut Terrence Lang, Mark Milton, Calvin Turner, and Jordan Veazey, and Jared Williams. Now, our friends at the UFL board are thinking that the most surprising cut was Calvin Turner. Okay. They said Turner could not stay healthy last year, but was expected to use his hybrid running back wide receiver skills to add a different dimension to San Antonio's offense. Well, now that's not really an option. So I'm wondering if that was based on what they were predicting under Ward, or if this is what they were predicting under Phillips. That might have something to do with that, right? Why they're saying it's the surprise cut. I personally think Veazey was more the surprise cut, but I mean, that's just me. They're also saying that defensive lineman Jacob Sykes was the most surprising keep. He wasn't a full-time starter for the Bruins, but he did impress in the Ivy League, as they said, with 7 sacks in his 2021 campaign. But I'm very interested to see how this is going to roll out, because we are running 2 tight ends, right? We've got Elise Mack and Cody Latimer, who are more
Cody
than
Latimer's
just
basically a big wide receiver. So, I'm sure he'll fill that spot a lot more than tight end.
Right. And that's just what I was going to, right? You run a 2 tight end set with one guy who's a little bit better at blocking and another guy who's a little bit better at catching. We're going to be dangerous.
Mac is not a slouch either. So he was pretty solid for us too. So that tight end spot for the Brahmas is going to be kind of crucial for us this year.
Oh yeah. Well, and that goes along to kind of support what we were talking about, right? Like the evolution of the running back position and how much more important the tight end position is. Well, we're going to find out just how important it is this year, right? And so we also, not related to this, well, you know what? Let's kick over to our Houston team and talk about some of the cuts that they made. Looking at some of the cuts that they made, without knowing a whole bunch about the players that they had, the one name I recognize is Kalen Tolson. I believe he was active last year. Kind of surprising that he got cut there. But otherwise, I mean, they're pretty much standard cuts, right? You got new coach, new kind of same thing with San Antonio, new coach, new game plan. You're going to find players that are going to fit best with that game plan. So some of these guys who've been around for a while probably aren't going to cut it. And you'll have to forgive my co-host here. She needs a little bit of attention. So, but the one thing that we definitely wanted to talk about in our show tonight, for anybody that is following the Brahmas and really watching the Daniel De La Haye story kind of develop, you guys know that we were kind of on the fence about him because we hadn't seen him actually in any game footage, and we hadn't seen him, truly tested by linebackers and stuff like that. If you watch the last 2 episodes of his YouTube series that he has going on, basically talking about his journey and making the team, and as things are coming up and whatever, watch those last 2. Shout out to DJ, one of our co-hosts on Horns Forward podcast. He has been in the De La Haye camp the whole entire time. He's the one who told us about the this special that is out, and these videos, you watch those last 2 videos, you'll see exactly why it is that he won his spot on the team and beat out was Amendola?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Matt
Why
Amendola.
Right. Why he beat out Amendola and why everybody should not be sleeping on this cat. He's a phenomenal athlete. We know that. We know the guy can kick. He dropped a 57-yarder on the money, not like just inside the uprights, but on the money in the uprights in one of the team practices, I think it was. Oh, I'm sorry. Good correction. It's that, yeah, we know. Jason's not so good with the names because he gets names confused. But watch those specials. You'll see 100% why. And so for anybody, because we've posed this question before, is the UFL keeping him around because of his YouTube following, or is it actually because of his athletic talent? That last video, from what DJ has said, will put all those questions to rest. It has nothing to do with his YouTube popularity, and it has 100% to do with his athleticism and his talent. So hang on, give me a second. I'm going to have to, Brian, take it for just a second. I'm going to mute myself.
All right. So, like Jason said, go watch those videos on YouTube. Definitely really good insight on De La Haye as a kicker, as trying to get his journey to get to the NFL. So, I guess kind of leading up, we talked about the UFL starting this week. For anybody who's going to be tailgating with us, with the team.
Yes.
Yes. So the Alamodome came out yesterday, day before yesterday. I think Monday is when they officially announced it, whatever. Tailgating in Lot C only. So that's the one right in the shadow of the Alamodome. So it actually be some pretty nice shade for those, mid-May, early June games. Lot B is for parking only. If Lot C fills up with tailgaters, they might allow, Lot B to be used as a tailgate spot, but that's only if C gets filled up completely from tailgaters, which is very good goal to have. So, let fill up C and let it spill over into B. That'd be fantastic.
Exactly. And then another thing that's kind of important, again, we talked about it on Horns Forward last night. The price for the tailgating spots has gone up. Parking is now $30 instead of the $20 that it was. And you're only allowed to buy one, and you have to keep your tailgate kind of confined to the spaces that you have, right?
No, you can buy two.
You can get two, but I'm saying like you are in one and then you tailgate in another one. You can't spill over. Yeah. Okay. There are a couple of other parts that are going to be really important. First and foremost, make sure that if you are tailgating in a spot that you have your parking pass for that, because San Antonio police will be walking around and confirming, the parking passes and stuff. And you may catch a fine, kind of ruin your tailgate if you're tailgating and you don't actually have a permit for it. Now, that's not to say that you can't tailgate from the back of your vehicle, your trunk, whatever, maybe set some seats up behind it. But if you're going to set up a canopy and a grill and do the whole 9 yards, then you're better off just getting a spot rather than taking a chance. Okay?
The bottom line is, if you're using 2 spaces, you got to pay for 2 spaces. If you're only using one, you got to use one. So,
right.
Pretty self-explanatory, pretty common sense, I would think.
Right. Now, we have not shared it to our Facebook page yet, probably because our Facebook page isn't working. But if you go to the Horns Forward podcast page, or if you go to the, Brahmas World Order Facebook page, or a number of the other like super fans for the San Antonio Brahmas, there is a map circulating to kind of show you where the different groups are going to be. We are going to be in the corner of C by the entrance, next to Cherry Street, basically. So
in between lot C and lot B, up at the street is the corner we'll be in.
Yeah. So feel free to come by and see us. We're going to be serving breakfast tacos. There's going to be mimosas. There's going to be some really good Jackie's Secret Recipe Jello shots. Of course, tons of Brahma's beer and a bunch of other things. So definitely come on out, say hi, grab yourself some food, some drink, whatever. Make your way around though too, right? Go see some of the other super fans, the Brahma World Order. I believe Brahma Babe will be running around. The Brahma Mamas have a section there.
And that's really what the map's for. It's to show everybody where all the different super fans, where all the groups are at. So it gives everyone a chance to kind of go hit all those spots and say hi to everybody. So,
yep. And we're welcoming everybody with open arms. So don't think that you can't come by and see us. You're more than welcome to come by and see us at any time, right? What we have, we're willing to share with everybody. Which reminds me, I still need to get my supplies for this weekend as well, but I'll probably pick those up on Saturday. I also do know that Converse Brian will be joining us for that game, which is huge because this is going to be his first Brahmas game. Well, I'm sorry, his first Brahmas game here in San Antonio.
Yeah, because he went to one when he was still Florida Brian.
Yep. And I believe that was one that we won. So maybe Brian is a good luck charm. And maybe the season's going to be a little bit different now, thanks to Brian being here in Texas where he belongs. That might be a little bit of a stretch, but whatever. This is important also, right? Viva Texas says language barriers do not exist. So if you're a Spanish-speaking resident of San Antonio, not really sure why you'd be watching our show, but hey, you're welcome. If you happen to be, somebody visiting from Germany, you're welcome also. If you're just a native San Antonian and you speak crazy like we do, you're welcome as well. Like everybody is welcome. Everything is open and available for you to partake in. Now, we're only going to serve until we run out. Like we're not going to go make extra runs and go get extra breakfast tacos and stuff or anything crazy like that, because we really only have 2 hours to tailgate. And imagine how tough it would be to leave to go get supplies and then try and get back in. We're not going to do all that crazy stuff. We're going to try and bring as much as we can. And, good Lord willing, we'll be able to provide for everybody. But it's going to be fun and it's the camaraderie and we want to see you guys and we want to visit with you and spend time with you. So come on out. We'll have a canopy popped up. We'll have Jorge on a plancha. See, I paid attention. For us white folks, that actually means grill. It's like a flat top grill.
Flat top.
Yeah. So just there's your Spanish lesson for the day. But it's going to be a great time. Come on out, hang out with us. If the song Lechona comes on, some shirts might come off, but that's about as far as we're going to go, right? Because we're not going to have enough time to get too crazy. But it's going to be a great time and it's going to be family appropriate. Well, I mean, the last time Jorge and I were together, some craziness happened, but there was like half a day of drinking there. Okay. Oh yeah. Check this out. So, and this is important also, right? Yeah. No in and outs per tailgating rules. If you leave, you're going to have to repay to enter. That's a horrible way to lose $30. So bring what you need with you. Okay. Bring, a couple extra beers for yourself just in case. Whatever, maybe some snacks, some munchies, whatever. I'm sure there's going to be plenty of food going around, but just in case, right? Always plan for, a little extra. But again, open to everybody. Come hang out with us. It's going to be a great, great time. Now, we spent way more than the 5 minutes on it than I wanted to. What else do we have? Oh,
I think we've got just the predictions.
Our predictions.
Yeah.
So, Brian, and I've got, wow. I'm sorry. I'm missing on a lot of these comments, from Facebook because everything is going on. Daryl Johnson said, did I miss the Arlington segment? This is TTF, right? So no,
yes, you did. Yeah. We already talked about them. That's it.
You did, but you didn't, right? We're actually going to be talking about them here in just a second. And it really kind of boils down to our predictions for this weekend, what we're expecting to see. Wow. This is a bold prediction. The El Mariachi de San Anto says Birmingham is going to win by 69 unanswered points. 69 unanswered points.
It's a nice score.
And it is a great score.
No, it's a nice score.
it's a nice whatever. Start your nonsense with me.
It's a joke, Jason. You'll have to look it up later. All right. Maybe
I'll have
maybe you're too old for that joke.
I probably am too old for that joke. Here's what we're looking at. I'm just trying to look at a standardized schedule. Maybe the UFL can show me. Birmingham at Arlington. Brian, who are you picking for this game? Remember, it's champion versus champion.
It is.
But it's also champion versus champion, two different divisions with not the same teams.
Much to the chagrin of our friend Jorge, I'm reluctantly going to pick Arlington to win this game. I don't think Birmingham's the team they were last year. They lost a quarterback, a bunch of other pieces. I think I'm taking Arlington this game.
Okay. And the X factor is going to be Luis Perez, right? It's going to be hard to predict what's going to happen because we all know Luis Perez is the king of spring ball. And Arlington, up until the point where they got Luis Perez, really was not that great of a team. Somehow, some way, he worked his magic and made it happen, and even made Big Game Bob look like a decent coach, which is phenomenal in and of itself. So Luis Perez is the MVP of last season. I don't care what anybody says. He took an irrelevant team to the championship. Okay. Him being in the mix here, I hate to say it, but I think Arlington is going to squeak a win out on this one also in our favorite stadium, of which we cannot say the name. Okay.
No fun.
I'm no fun at all. There might be kids watching, Brian. Come on.
Dude, it's not. It's 8:40, all right?
Fine. What's the name of the stadium, Brian?
Everybody knows the name of the stadium. Everybody knows that it's Cocktail Stadium, all right?
Oh, my God. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Never.
Inside joke, folks, for people that don't know about that. We'll have to talk about it offline. It was the funniest thing ever, dude. Okay. Second game of the weekend. We've got the St. Louis Deep Fried Battle Chickens going up against the Michigan Kitty Cats. Who are you picking in that one, Brian? Keep in mind, AJ McCarron is back.
He is. I'm going to pick Michigan.
Wow.
That's going to be my surprise pick of the week is Michigan over the Battle Chickens.
That is a very surprising pick. I think it goes without saying that there's no love lost between the St. Louis fans and this show. We got nothing but love for you and respect for you, but come game time, right, we're enemies. And that being said, I'm going to put my money on the Battle Chickens, man. I just think with AJ McCarron and granted, they don't have some of the weapons that they had. I don't believe Prohl came back. They had Borghi for about a day,
5 minutes,
lost him. So there are some unknowns in there, but it's McCarron, man. And McCarron's that type of cat that, until that final whistle blows, he's going to keep working and he's going to keep grinding. So I really think that Battle Chickens are, here we go. 100%. Yes, we are definitely frenemies with the St. Louis contingency. But I think St. Louis is going to pull this one off, man. And here's the best part. I think they're going to pull it off in front of what is going to sound like their home field, because there are so many people from St. Louis that are riled up now and that are trying to prove that they're a good travel team. So there's going to be a lot of people in Michigan at this game, and I think it's going to be a repeat of us going to Arlington and taking over their field. No. So that's my pick for that one. We obviously know that San Antonio is going to win this game against the DC Defenders. Hey, by the way, Jackie, I showed it earlier, but just to show you that I'm ready, right? Where is this? Let's go. Let's go. Step on snake. Look, I even have it on my cup, right? That's how confident I am in this game. We are going to win this one.
Absolutely.
Brian, what are we looking at?
I'm going to say score-wise, I'm going to say we're going to win 31-17.
Wow. I'm going to say 31-24. I'm going to say 31-24 because I just believe that Tamu is going to be a little bit harder to contain.
Yeah, but I'm excited for our defense this year. It's going to be so good.
Yeah, I'm very hopeful for our defense. I really think that we should be giving everybody a run for our money. And now, right, the biggest thing that the XFL had going for them last season was the fact that we had no offense, but we did have arguably the number one rated defense. Well, now we're going to have an offense. So now what are you going to do when we're running the score up on you?
Yep.
So then the last game, and this is another shout out to our friend Jorge, Viva Texas, the Brahma Mariachi. 100% is going to go back to his legs, right? But last game of week 1, the Memphis Showboats, Hank, right, against the Houston Roughnecks. Brian, who you got?
I'm taking Houston in this one.
100% lock it in. I really think not anything necessarily against Memphis. Keep in mind, we've got 16 teams condensed down to 8, so it's the best of the best that are going to be on the field. But Memphis showed last year that they really struggled with better teams, right? They went 5-5 for the season. Houston Roughnecks was arguably one of the better teams in the XFL last year, and we're biased, but we do believe that the gameplay and the talent in the XFL was arguably a little bit better than what was in the USFL. That being the case, most of the well, I shouldn't say most,
the Houston
because
team
we got
is gamblers players.
It has a decent amount of gamblers players, but it also has a good mix of Roughnecks players on it too. And so I'm still going to put my money on Houston just because it's Houston, right? That's a scrappy team and a scrappy fan base, and they give a lot of energy to their team when they're actually there cheering and rooting them on. I really think it's going to wind up being Houston Roughnecks, probably by about 10. They're going to beat them by 10.
All right.
So, but that's what we got going on for week number 1. We also talked about a bunch of the IFL and USFL games that are going to be going on, and all that fun stuff. Wow. So I can't show it here, but DJ's saying that he's got Cookus in Memphis, which, I mean, that arguably could very well be a real thing, right? I don't think it's going to work out that way, but I do agree that Cookus is a pretty good quarterback. I just don't think the rest of the team around him is going to make that much of a difference. But I guess we'll see, right? So again, right, UFL opening weekend. Obviously, there's going to be a lot going on. I will actually be making the drive up to Arlington to be there to harass both teams because, unfortunately, both teams can't lose. I would love that if that was the case because I'd love to be able to roast both teams. But I'm going to be razzing as many people as I possibly can because I want them stirred up. I want them ready. Like I want them seeing our logo, giving them the horns forward, having them come to San Antonio thinking, "Oh man, we're going to get revenge on you," and then we whoop them and send them home. So
yeah, you have fun with that. I will be recovering from my trip that I'm leaving for tomorrow. So
yeah, and you better take care of what I asked you to take care of.
That's
okay?
Right. That's right.
So, folks, gambling is illegal in the state of Texas, but if you somehow, some way have a connection with somebody that can get a bet placed for you, I highly encourage you to put a bet down now before the weekend, right? Because the San Antonio Brahmas are plus 1,300 odds to win the UFL championship. And I truly believe that they're going to. So that's going to be a huge payday when we cash in. Okay. Yeah. So put your money down now before the odds change after this weekend. I'm just telling you, lock it in. Brian, what else you got?
That's all. That's it for me.
Okay. That's pretty much all we have also. There may be some live updates this weekend, obviously from the Arlington game and just giving, a bunch of the fans a hard time, being, typical SAJ. And we're definitely going to be doing some updates from the Brahmas game and the post game celebration. So make sure that you tuned in here or to Horns Forward podcast. We're going to have all kinds of fun stuff going on. If you find that you have some downtime, maybe catch an IFL game, maybe catch an AIF game, because there's plenty of Texas teams that are going to be represented there. Oh, yes. I absolutely cannot forget about this.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yes. There's a pep rally on Saturday, and I'm trying to remember all the specific information, but if I don't remember if we have it posted on the Texans Talking Football page or not.
We did. It's on a page. It's going to be at the 1902 1902 off Commerce.
1902 bar?
Yeah, on Saturday from 4 to 6. The 1902 nightclub.
There you go.
So that's free, open to the public. It's a kid-friendly event. Coach is going to be there. I think some members of the team are going to be there. So it'll be a good time. Yeah,
it's a great opportunity to get together with some of your fellow fans and meet Coach, cheer him on, encourage him, because this season the Brahmas mean business. We've got a different coach. We've got a different attitude. Well, I wouldn't say necessarily a different attitude. I would say the same fiery attitude, but this year we're digging in. And as Jackie says, #revenge season, we are coming for that championship, right? We got way too close last year to watch it slip through our fingers, and we went through way too much to just let it go again this year. It's not going to happen. We are coming back. We are hungry. We are a much better team. We are absolutely going to destroy. Again, no pun intended because of the kicker. But we're just going to tear it up. So be ready for it. So with that, Brian, you want to close it out?
Well, thank you guys for watching us, for interacting and chatting. Sorry for the technical difficulties, but we'll get it straightened out for next week. If you're in San Antonio or close enough to drive, come see us on Sunday. Come by, say hi, get a taco, get a beer, get a mimosa. We'll have a great time.
And watch the Brahmas win the first game of the season and our long line of wins on the way to the championship.
That's right.
We'll see you guys. Horns forward. Let's go.